Okay? The role is supposed to be complementary and not conflicting, because each person has a role to play. And the reason why this collaboration is important, some of it Reverend Aojola has made mention of, is that there is need to follow the biblical example as we find in the book of Acts chapter 6, where the apostles and the 7 men were appointed. They worked together, leading to the exponential growth of the church. The other reason that we need to consider has to do with unity of purpose, or what I like to call the oneness of purpose. Okay? How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity and in harmony. The third is that there's balanced leadership. Alright? Because again, like I identified, there's no way one person can say, I know it all, no matter how skilled you are. It's very important that that kind of balanced leadership provides insight to the diversity of the church. The fact that the church today is not defined by an ethnicity, it's not defined by status, it's not defined just by location. It's very important for us to consider. So when you talk about growth, it has to be that you are able to accommodate people who are diverse, people who come from a different background from what we know or are comfortable with. And that's part of what we need to overcome as a denomination. Because the truth, whether we like it or not, is that majority of people see the Baptist as essentially a Yoruba. For some people will argue that beyond even Yoruba Papa, I didn't say that though. About Aroyo. Or some people will even accuse people like me that Yara. Anyway, so we need to override this, because the truth is that since COVID, things have changed a lot. People have moved all over the world. And what technology is doing today is that it has democratized access. So it can reach people in any part of the world that they are. People are hungry to hear the message of the gospel. People are desperate to hear the message of the gospel. In advertising, we call something the medium. In fact, we say the man, the medium, and the message. Now, when you talk about the medium in advertising, this is how are you reaching people? So we might actually sit in the 4 walls of a church like we are doing, but we might be able to reach a lot more people who can listen to us online, who can reach us through YouTube, who we can actually mentor and follow up with them offline. Are we thinking about that? Are we investing in that? When we work together, there's a great deal of conflict that is prevented. When we work together, we are enhancing the witnessing that, that should definitely be the bedrock of our spirituality as a denomination and as a church. I've talked about some of the causes of strained relationships, but one of the key things that I also like to emphasize has to do with skills. Everybody says skills. I did say earlier on that, so you've been appointed a pastor, you've been appointed a deacon, so what next? And I gave the allusion of a vice chancellor who read soil science, but who must now administer a whole university community. Skills is part of what is causing a lot of friction in the church. So when you look at that human element, as a pastor, if you do not have the skills that help you to manage people very well, that help you to understand what it means to operate with team orientation, if you do not understand how to manage resources, and I'm not just talking financial resources, I'm also talking men and material resources, then there's going to be a problem. Praise the Lord. So skills is very important. Now what that points out to is that you need to continuously upskill yourself. Upskilling yourself is the kind of thing that we are doing here now by exposing ourselves to training. I'll give us a little example, which is the other story I wanted to tell. And that's a fairly personal one. Almost 20 years ago, I had worked in a place for 19 years continuously. And by the grace of God, the success of that place was largely hinged on me. When I say the success, that company broke even in less than 1 year. And we broke a lot of grounds. We are doing great things. And to be honest with you, I was not looking at leaving the company. I was treated well. My word counted. I was responsible for the growth, essentially. The managing director then gave me a free hand to do whatever I wanted to do. So I was very happy. I was very fulfilled. In fact, I was so fulfilled and contented and afraid that I could not think of going to start a similar company that can succeed as much. Are you understanding what I'm saying? I worked in a place for 19 years. I was responsible for the growth. It became very successful. But something happened one day, just one day. And I said to myself, that's it. I need to leave. So all my fears, everything that had happened to me in those 19 years, crystallized in my presence. But I don't have a choice but to leave. So, it's one of those moments of what will Jesus do moments where you need to take hard decisions about your life.